Hey everybody, just Jesse here, welcoming you back into my garage, my man cave for another day of accountability. How are you guys doing with your accountability? I hope you're doing well. Today is Wednesday, it's October 28th, the year 2020, and I read through Luke chapter 5. This is an amazing chapter, I dare you to read it. Take your time, just get into it. Really, what Luke chapter 5 is talking about is intuition and how Jesus saw potential in people like Simon and Matthew. As I look at Luke chapter 5, I read that Jesus did so many miracles. He did things on top of healing sicknesses and deformities. He also stands up and shows up the religious leaders of the day. He really asks us a question, and the question that we should be asking ourselves is, would any of us pick Simon the fisherman or Matthew the tax collector to run in our crew? Think about it, really. Simon didn't really ever think before he spoke, and by all means, he was just out with the fish and the guys all the time, no time for poise or tact or elegance. Then you have somebody like Matthew. He's a tax collector. He took more than he gave. He was always the guy that nobody wanted to be friends with because he took your hard-earned money. And Jesus, however, saw beyond their flaws. He saw the diamonds in the rough. If Jesus could see them and determine that they were a 10 out of 10 instead of a 2 or a 3, then how are we supposed to look at people? Look at somebody like Peter. He was a powder keg, always ready to go off. He was super unstable. He became a pillar of the church. So, as we look at Matthew again, he became one of the most generous people in all of the Gospels. You see, intuition enables leaders to spot potential. And that's something that isn't said lightly, because intuition really does enable leaders to spot potential. Now let's look through some biblical history about things like that. So, would you have chosen Moses, who stuttered, to be a spokesman for God? If you were in God's shoes, if you were in Jesus' shoes, would you have chosen Moses? The man stuttered. How could he be a spokesman for God? Well, he was. If you were in God's shoes, would you have chosen a shepherd boy to be the king of Israel? If you were in God's shoes, would you have chosen someone who didn't have manners, like John, to baptize Jesus and actually prepare the way for Jesus? And if you were in God's shoes, would you have chosen a prostitute like Mary to bring the news of the resurrection? Nobody really talked to Mary. Nobody really listened to Mary. They knew that she was a prostitute. You see, Jacob was a cheater, and Peter had a temper. David had an affair. Noah got drunk. Jonah ran from God. Paul was a murderer. Gideon was insecure. Miriam was a gossip. Martha was a worrier. Thomas was a doubter. Sarah was impatient. Elijah was moody. Moses stuttered, Zacchaeus was short, and Lazarus was dead. And when God chose you and I, he didn't make a mistake. Because God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Now I challenge you, knowing what you know of who God chooses to lead, will you stand up and not be silent anymore? Be the leader that your wife needs, the leader that your son or daughter needs, the leader that your family needs, the leader that your community needs, the leader that your city needs. Would you be the leader that your church needs? How about this one? Would you be the leader that God needs, the one that God has chosen you to stand up for? Man, Luke chapter 5 really opens up this whole thing about intuition, and it really opens up what we need to do when we look at people. I challenge you in the next couple days, the next week, the next month, I challenge you in general life. Start looking at people the way God looks at people, and stop looking at them the way that the world perceives you to look at other people. Look at their hearts. Look through all the crap that the world puts in your face. Make a decision, a godly decision, once you've taken the time to communicate with God about that. Man, Luke chapter 5 is intense. I didn't expect that today. Today I really didn't think that I was going to be accountable. I thought maybe I'll spend a little bit more time with my wife because I was busy during the day when she was at home, and she was gone when I was sleeping after work. But my wife, being the leader that she is, still questions if I'm going to do quiet time every day. She asked me, "Are you going to do your quiet time?" And I was kind of in and out of napping for a moment, but I knew what the answer needed to be. It's in these moments that God calls, and it's in these moments that God speaks those clear, decisive words to you. On top of the challenge of looking at people through the lens that God sees, I challenge you to stop making an excuse for why you can't get in the Word, why you can't pray, why you can't spend 2 seconds with God, but you can spend 4 hours watching the TV. I know that I have this issue, and I know that it's something that really grips me, and it's something that I need to work on. So from here on forward, I will start to add that to my list of things that I need to work on to overcome. I challenge you for that too. Hopefully, when you read through Luke chapter 5, or if you just listen to this video, hopefully it helps you or somebody that you know that may be going through a hard time. If you think that somebody's going through a hard time, send this video to them. Let them know that they can still be chosen, that they're still worth something. Everyone's worth something, no matter what it is. You're all a diamond in the rough to God. So send the video to the people that may need it. Watch it a couple of times if you think you need it. If you don't know who I am, I'm just Jesse. And these videos are my accountability to staying in God's Word. I hope that you guys are being safe. I hope that you're always going and growing. And I hope that God blesses you.